What's going on, everybody? It's The Rewind, the recap show where myself and RN take you through the latest week in professional wrestling and kind of give our ideas on what we liked and didn't like about the show. My name is Kyle Tyson. Of course, I am flanked by
I never could tell when you toss me on, man.
good friend RN. I'm sorry, man. I couldn't help myself.
Fucker.
RN, man. I took a week off. Bama filled in for us last week.
Right. Clutch. Bama's been coming in super fucking clutch for us.
Hell yeah, man.
And it's fun. He told us he didn't know if he could be able to do it. He's been fucking just hammering shit out.
He's the hardest working person on SmackDown, and he told us he could only be part-time.
Oh, I told him he's the most professional wrestling podcaster.
He is. No, Bama's fantastic, you guys. In fact, actually, while we're sitting here, tune in tomorrow night. Bama's got his trivia show. Here, let me pull up the details on that really quick before I butcher it off the top of my head. Bama's hosting a very special episode of Bama Slammers. He's going to be joined by Baby J from the SmackDraw family, the chef at Will Gray, and of course, Kenny from Kenny for Your Thoughts. They will be doing pretty much wrestling trivia. It's got a cool spin, quite literally. It's a wheel. They're going to be doing trivia based off of WCW, NXT, AEW, Raw, Impact, SmackDown. You can tune in tomorrow night. That is Tuesday, so maybe today by the time you're watching this on YouTube. I believe 9 p.m. On twitch.tv/SmackedRaw. So if you're watching the live stream while we're telling you about this, hit follow, and that way you'll be notified when they go live. It's going to be a ton of fun. Clap Chat Podcast is rating us with a party of 7. Hey, you guys, what's going on? Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Oh, man. But yeah, it's going to be fun. Who was on the last episode? Were you on the last episode, RN?
No, not of the trivia. I've never done that show.
Man, I watched it, and, you don't knock it out the park. Your first go.
Right.
So if I could critique that show, was Bama had the difficulty cranked up to 15. This man was asking some deep cut questions, and I think the contestants only had something like 5 or 10 seconds to answer. And dude,
right.
It was brutal. It was a lot of fun. Good sports. I would have rage quit like 15 minutes into the show. I would have just tossed my laptop.
Yep.
Oh man. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I can't wait to watch. Kenny for Your Thoughts is amazing. You guys, before we go over this week, Big E supposedly cashing in tonight on Raw, like pretty much following this live stream.
Right.
We were talking a little bit before the recording. RN, is WWE just allergic to like surprises or something?
I don't, like I said, we were saying, like, I know they think they're like grabbing more viewers, but as we said, I mean, as you pointed out, like the only person that's actually moved the needles, God forbid, it was Goldberg. Like any other time they break a surprise or break some news, like it doesn't give them like a huge uptick. Like I don't get, like they just went through 2 weeks of AEW just knocking this shit out the park as far as surprises, even though we knew they were coming, that we still were surprised when they showed up because they didn't just put out a fucking tweet directly from the person saying, hey, see you Wednesday night. Like fuck off.
Another minor surprise that apparently has been ruined is Damian Priest, I guess, had an open challenge tonight, and it's already been answered by Jeff Hardy.
Why?
Outside of Jeff, I will say this. Open challenges was like the last stand of WWE surprises.
Right. Literally.
John Cena, that U.S. title coming out. Who's going to come up from NXT? Who's going to be that up and comer? And yeah, they can't even surprise us with
can't surprise us, and then you throw Jeff Hardy of all fucking people in.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to shit on it too much. The cynical people are saying it's to combat the ratings for football. Listen, at the very least, I'm at my core, I'm an optimist. I'll
I
tune
don't think
in.
they worry about that anymore because they know they're going to get slaughtered. Like it's the first week of the football season. Like they've been doing this for long enough to know that Monday Night Football is going to fucking rape them no matter what. It doesn't matter. Nothing short of them stealing like Kenny Omega or somebody debuting on Raw or something like that. Like there's nothing they can do to beat Monday Night Football. It's just not happening.
Yeah. Really quick before we go ahead and kick off tonight's official show. Yeah, man, follow the show here live on Twitch. Hit that follow button. If you're watching us on YouTube, you know, it really helps out the show if you can hit that like, subscribe, notification bell. We really appreciate it. We are so close to 300 subscribers on YouTube, man. I'm very excited. I'm so happy for it. And we're also very close to 100 followers on Twitch. So please support the show. We tend to be funny every now and then. Unpopular Wrestling Opinions is a crowd favorite too.
Right.
You guys got to go ahead and check that out if you're a first-time watcher of the show. Go check out UWO that dropped last week. It's a hilarious show where we just have a bunch of people over and we flame trolls on Twitter. But yeah.
Actually, on that one, I don't think we really flamed too many people. I think we pretty much agreed with most of them, maybe except for one or two.
It was a pretty even show last week. There was some balance to it. But one thing I like about that show is it's really silly 95%, and then I'll get that like one tweet in there that sparks like an actual intellectual debate to kind of counterbalance the dick jokes. So yeah, check that out, you guys. Let's kick off, man. Let's kick off this week. It was a long week, so let's not make it any longer. Starting off with last week's Raw, RN tag team turmoil to determine new tag team contenders or number one contenders for the current champs. Who are the current champs again? Riddle and Orton.
RK Bro.
Yeah, RK Bro. What'd you think of the structure? Because they did the gauntlet match thing to begin with, and then they broke it up halfway through.
That's the part I didn't like. I didn't like them breaking it up.
Yeah.
Like, I wish they had just gone through, because remember what that did for Seth Rollins those couple of times when he had those just like that 45-minute fucking Iron Man turmoil match or whatever the hell it was.
The gauntlet match. Yeah, the gauntlet.
The gauntlet match. Yeah. 45 minutes straight of Raw. Like, that was probably one of the best Raws ever, and what it did for Seth, even though they fucking squandered it. But I think if they had left him out there and just going through it, I mean, it ain't like the New Day is going to gather that many more fans, but I think it would have put a lot more eyes and kept you much more glued to what was going on at Raw than splitting it up like that.
Thank you for the follow, EPW show, and the subscription on YouTube. God, man, MVP. Thank you. No, you're right, man. You're absolutely right. Those gauntlet matches make stars out of people. They did it for Seth Rollins. They did it for Kofi. It's what kicked off Kofi Mania.
Yep.
They did the same thing for the New Day, helping Kofi get.
Did Shinsuke get one too?
Yes, even though that one, yeah, you're right. They did nothing with it.
Yeah, they blew it, but still, it had the internet talking.
Yeah, the matches. By the way, you guys, we don't really. This isn't like an official recap of all shows. No. We kind of just talk about the bullet points, because otherwise this podcast would go for like 5 hours. So yeah, we are definitely not going to cover every show in its entirety, or even like how the matches played out beat for beat. Just kind of our quick takeaways. But a lot of people did praise the quality of the tag matches and everything, and they said it was good. We also had, it was ultimately won by the greedy Bobby Lashley, who I guess world champion is not enough for him. He needs tag gold now. Him and MVP.
Belt collecting, stealing from AEW again.
Yeah. Bobby belt collector, man. He's definitely not getting those titles.
Nah.
Sheamus and Drew McIntyre had a match. This ultimately was to get the number one contenders match for the U.S. title against Damian Priest at Extreme Rules. Sheamus won with a fistful of tights. This was good call here, I think. Sheamus is a good hospital. Drew has to go to SmackDown. Like, he's drowning in Raw.
Yeah, and because he was the man for so long, and they were so short on challengers for him, he's faced everybody in the main event and everybody that are challengers for the U.S. house, like even the shit with Sheamus, even though they're always fire and their chemistry is just fucking phenomenal, it's still like this again. You know what I'm saying? So like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I feel like he definitely needs to change the scenery.
I'll say one thing. There's an alternate universe out there where Sheamus and Drew McIntyre tore it down as the main event of WrestleMania.
Right.
Because those guys, their matches were phenomenal, if you ask me. Did you see that video recently of Drew McIntyre at the house show, or excuse me, the WWE live event? House show apparently is banned. Drew couldn't get out of his kilt.
No.
Yeah, so he had to like very effeminately wiggle his hips for it to fall off his waist. This shit was hilarious, man. It genuinely was funny. Drew,
and that's the thing about him too. Like, he wouldn't have took himself too seriously. Like, he would have rolled with the punches with that. Like,
yeah,
he doesn't, because Raw is so ass. He'll never get the credit he deserves for the talent that he is and carrying fucking them through the pandemic. Like, that's the part I hate about it. Like that he finally got his shot and everything that he worked for during that fucking time. So it's like, I don't want to say it's wasted, but it kind of was.
Bama drops the idea, Drew versus Roman 2. I like it. I thought it was great. I hated how true it was that Drew really was the B champ of WWE, but I mean, it's just Roman's killing it. You can't deny that.
No.
Yeah. So Charlotte Flair had this follow-up match with Nia Jax from last week. Now, we didn't get to touch on this last week, just because we let Bama take the reins, and he mainly just covered all out. But Nia and Charlotte, I guess, are doing this little like shoot fight style here. It didn't really work that well for the match, if you ask me. However, the thing about this is, are we experiencing the Mandela effect here? Because at the end of the match, Shayna distracted Nia, which allowed Charlotte to pick up the win. She hit the, oh man, what the fuck is the name of her finisher?
Natural selection.
The natural selection off the top rope. By the way, that should be her only finisher going forward outside of
absolutely.
The figure
it's fucking
eight.
fire.
God,
Even when she does it like not off the top rope. It's even though it doesn't look like it really hurts, but it still looks fire.
I like it way more off the top rope than I do
absolutely.
The opponent's like sitting down on the mat or something.
Right.
But anyways, back to what I was saying. Haven't Shayna and Nia broken up like 3 times by now? What did
I
don't even pay into a different universe?
Right. I didn't even know. Like, first of all, I didn't know they were beefing. They were beefing for a second, got back on the same page when she got rid of Reggie. So I thought everything was fine.
I don't know, man. I could have swore they've already broke up.
And these shoot fights, like, they would mean more if Nia hadn't already broken people's fucking face and fucked people up. Shooting, you know what I'm saying? So, like, why would she not murder fucking Charlotte Flair if this was a real shoot fight?
Very true.
That's why I couldn't take it serious. Like, I thought it was dope, them really hitting each other and shit, but, like, we see what happens when Nia's fucking 6'2", 300-pound ass punches a woman in the face. Their face is rearranged.
We learn one thing. Is Nia knows how to throw a punch. That's for sure.
Yeah, so that's why I just couldn't take it serious. I'm like, man, she would have literally already murdered her. They would have had to call the ambulance.
All right. My last thing, and then if you can think of anything else, is Karrion Kross. So this is Karrion Kross is like, it's like that. He strikes me as that passion project that you never pay attention to until you're like 8 beers deep at 2 a.m, and all of a sudden you just want to go out to the garage and build some shit. Because Karrion Kross came in, he lost to Jeff Hardy, and now it's like it's the most, you can tell WWE wants to do something with him. Because
they just don't know what.
Because he's coming out here squashing guys. But they have nothing outside of that. Not to mention, he's squashing underutilized guys, which is not a way to get people into the character one way or another.
Well, for starters, the main thing is him looking like dude from, like you said, from Mad Max, like with fucking suspenders on. He wears a skirt and suspenders, to the ring. Like, and like, it's no one's ever gonna take him serious. And my thing is like, yeah, I'm all right with the squash matches and shit, but make it look real. Make him look like the MMA guy that they've been fucking looking for since Brock Lesnar started going part time. That's clearly what they're looking for. Is one of those legitimate Taz-like fighters that they can put something behind. But you can't do that when he's coming to the ring in a fucking Spartacus skirt and suspenders.
His outfit is really bad. It is really bad.
Oh, and then, like I said, the losing to Jeff Hardy out the gate, like they just don't. You can literally just tell with everything. There's too many fucking cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah. I liked what Steve from Going in Raw, he did a little thing on his little side show that he has, Wrestle Juice. And he talked about a way to try to salvage Karrion Kross. And essentially he essentially just paired him up with Sheamus. Like Sheamus, because you can get belter matches out of it. You beat, and then he also, I think he said, also get him a win over like Drew. And just have him in some really good hoss battles, beat a couple big names, make it mean something, and then you'll probably and also get his entrance back and get Scarlett back. And
the part I don't fucking understand either. The worst of it all is like that's what made him who he is. That's what gave him like that aura. Is the fucking entrance that he's been doing everywhere he went. They even took it with him to NXT. Like I don't like. Man. They just like they hate NXT that fucking much. Like I don't get it. Like if it ain't broke, why try to fix it? Like if that's your developmental, they made him into a developmental star. Bring that shit right on in with them. Like it's just getting old shitting on WWE for the same shit over and over again.
Yeah, it is. Bama asked, "Is she injured?" Actually, we don't know. So I'm even reserving myself. Injured,
what did she do but rub his chest and scream "fall and pray" or whatever the fuck she says? Like,
who knows, man? I mean, but then again, also no one knew, the thing with Keith Lee, and it turned out, the cardiac issues and stuff. So you don't want to lean in too hard because you never really know
what's going on. Right?
All I can say in true honesty is I hope she returns very soon, as long as it's permitted. Speaking of hating NXT, RN, I did not watch this last week.
I'm gonna stop watching fucking AEW.
No, hey, look, with the reboot, I'm 100 in. With the reboot, I'm 100% in.
Man, the only thing they rebooting is the fucking logo, bro. Did you see all the matches that are for next week? Does that seem like a reboot to you? Besides the championship match, like I hope they come with a new belt and everything. Like if they're really gonna go into this, lean into it. Lean all the way the fuck into it. But
hey, look, I'll say this. At least right now, the aesthetics reflect what we've been saying is NXT really is the home for like talented black wrestlers.
Right.
And so having the heavy metal, grunge theme that it has been is kind of like it's kind of like counterproductive against its identity.
Right. And I think Wale doing the entrance too, like all of it feels, I don't want to say urbanized because it's not really, but at least it feels like more inclusive for everybody.
Yeah, I found myself thinking about that the other night when I saw the intro. I was like, you know what? This makes a lot more sense if I'm really being honest with how we describe NXT. I said, yeah, this makes more sense than this heavy metal theme that we've had forever. Not that I didn't like that, but if there was a time to kind of pull the trigger and give it a new facelift, I think right now is a good time to do it. So we'll wait and see. And I am 100% in, though. I'm 100% in starting tomorrow. No more missing NXT episodes. Right?
Well, I mean, it was pretty much because of the launch. Like they were pretty heavy on the championship matches, which also too kind of played into the relaunch, having champions set and ready to go. But half of that shit I don't even think really came to mind. My first thing was out the gate was Kaylee Ray. To me, she should be the face of the women's division in NXT already. Like, I think she's more of a star, and I think she has more presence than maybe not EO, but pretty much everyone else, and that includes Raquel. Like, she feels like a champion.
Dakota Kai.
I think Kaylee Ray's
Oh,
better than
Kaylee
all
Ray.
of them.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Kaylee Ray, not Dakota Kai. He's
I
up there too, but
Bama put in the chat that he's going head to head with NXT tomorrow, and I kind of had a brain fart like while you were talking.
no, Kaylee Ray, she just has that like I don't even want to say Charlotte Flair, but she just has that it. Like she just feels like whenever she's in a match, it feels like a big match.
Yeah,
and I feel like people are going to start to see that now that she's over here in real NXT and not.
She's from the UK, right?
Right. She was a UK women's champ for almost as long as Walter was.
I want to say several years ago, I saw a independent match of hers for What Culture Pro Wrestling or Defiant. I can't remember if they had changed the name, but she was in the crowd chugging beers, like doing her best Steve Austin.
Right.
And it was actually really dope. Turned out she could not chug beer though. She got like halfway through and couldn't pull it off anymore. What else, man? What else did I saw we got some funny Gargano and Loomis skits.
The bachelor party and the bachelorette party. The bachelorette party was Indy's not very good at improvising this shit. Candice LeRae's fire. Indy was trying to keep up, but it felt weird. But the bachelor party was fucking fire. I mean, even though Loomis doesn't have to say anything, just his facials and pretty much what he was doing to get Johnny's blessing, like they were doing. Cameron Grimes took over the bachelor party, paid for it and everything, and they were doing like competition and shit and everything. And Loomis was pretty much helping Johnny win to kind of get his approval to marry Andy finally.
Oh man, I have to go back and watch that.
Oh, it's fucking ridiculous, and just the inclusion of Cameron Grimes too on top of it, like
makes all the sense, man.
It does.
It makes all the sense.
It really did. They even had the participants. They even had the fucking one of the zombies from when they had the zombie match, or whatever.
No,
the zombie ref. He was one of the
They caught one of the zombies just walking around the back of CWC. Just got left behind.
It was the ref. The ref that got turned into a zombie.
Oh man, yeah, I have to go back and watch that.
Yeah, it was fucking fire.
What else?
Other than that, Carmelo Hayes and Santos Escobar had the match of the week for me.
Yeah, those are two guys that I know I can't wait to check out more.
Right, and then I mean Escobar's the star, the Latin star that I'm glad. I wanted to be Dominic, but if Escobar, if they finally get a hold of Escobar and actually see what he can do, and he can actually speak English too on top of it, like he's another one that I wish he was fucking 6'3", 6'4". He'd probably already be WWE champion by now if he was 6'3" or 6'4" for real. And then the Diamond Mine debuted their new people since they cut half of the Diamond Mine.
God, dude, if anyone's had the roughest start,
yikes.
Oh man, yeah, so who are the new people for Diamond Mine? I
forgot their names. They're two brothers, but one of them made it to the Olympics, and the other one's was undefeated in college and shit and everything. And they were like a skinny Brock Lesnar and a short Brock Lesnar. They were just so fucking generic looking. I love their style, because that's my style to Kurt Angle, Team Angle style. It was they completely squashed it, but they look so fucking plain, in generic creative wrestling, the outfits they start you out with on 2K when you're coming up the ranks or whatever. It's so, it was just blah.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now. The members of Diamond Mine. Damn it, I'm seeing all the highlights from the Bachelor Party.
Right.
I really need to go back and watch this.
Oh yeah, that was the Bachelor Party was a highlight night. Then the tag match with MSK and Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch, and they got kicked out of that group. So that group's no more now. They lost to MSK, so Pete Dunne and them beat the brakes off of them afterwards, which I don't understand what the hell they joined them for anyway. It never made sense to me. Maybe Danny Burch, I guess, because it was kind of like a UK faction, but Oni Lorcan getting thrown in there, it was all weird and never made sense to me. But
Chucky Viola and Paxton Averill, I want to say, got fed to the Diamond Mine's newest. Oh, got fed to the newest members. Excuse me, the Creed brothers, Brutus and Julius. Yeah. Okay. Oops. Yeah. Oh, and right. Just as I looked that shit up, Bama's in the chat, saving my ass. The Creed brothers, right there.
Yep. I couldn't think of their names for the fucking life of me.
Oh man. Somebody who on NXT roster that I just feel hasn't missed the boat, but damn, we should have done something big by now is still Ember Moon. Ember Moon has always impressed me. I know you said once her and Shotzi got paired up,
Right.
Hopping on the mic was doing her a disservice, which I kind of agree. They were way too obnoxious. Like it didn't feel like it fit who she was in the ring. Yeah.
And that match with Kaylee Ray, that was a dope ass match too. Like if it wasn't for Escobar and Carmella, I probably would have called that the night of the match, especially it being a women's match. And they pulled out some shit. Like Ember did a move I'd never even seen before. Like, but she's just like, I don't know what it is about her. Like I don't think she's ever gonna get anybody behind her like that, like to be a star. You know what I'm saying? I think she's always gonna be an NXT person or lower middle card. Like even though she's maybe honestly probably the best in the ring in the fucking promotion, honestly, but
top 5 in my book, I think.
Yeah, just
as
don't.
Far as performers goes.
Yeah, I just don't know what it is about her. Like she always just comes off as lame to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it seems like everything's forced. Kind of like Naomi, honestly.
Yeah, Naomi. Talk about somebody who just has so many positives, but then quite a few negatives that offset it. I'd love to have like a longer introspective on Naomi's character, man, because God, she's such a complex person, and there's no easy way to get her to the top spot, unfortunately. But we'll discuss that some other time.
That was pretty much it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Moving on to AEW. Before we get there, we're halfway through the show. If you guys not only supporting us on YouTube and Twitch, which we really, really appreciate, you can follow us on Twitter. Myself at The Kai Tai Show, RN at Mr. 8984, and then, of course, the show's channel at SmackDraw Pod. We have a Patreon, which just got a nice little facelift. We're gonna go more in depth here soon into the reward tiers to freshen them up. But you can head on over to patreon.com/SmackDrawPodcast, or you can hit us up on paypal.me/SmackDrawPod to help financially support the show. Everything you guys give us goes directly back into the show. Like recently, I had to crack and get the paid version of PixArt, which has been the photo editing tool we've been using for our thumbnails and other artwork. PixArt got wise to the paid stuff. I had a workaround where I could just like screenshot it. And so even all their assets now are all watermarked the moment you even try to use them. So I had to knuckle down and pay for the app. And that came from you guys. So thank you. Helping us out, man. AEW. So AEW, man, I love the show. This is this is not new. However, I will say this, man. AEW crams as much stuff as they can.
It was so much shit going on. I had to go back and look at my notes because I couldn't remember what was on Dynamite, what was on Rampage, because there was so much shit going on. I was like, wait a minute, hold up, that wasn't on that.
I'll say one thing. So just because I get a lot of shit for how much I shill out for them, I'll start leading off with my concerns or complaints. Is A, they do need to slow down and let some moments breathe longer. We miss a lot of stuff like this show. I mean, we've seen probably the biggest thing coming out of it is cutting Minoru Suzuki's music. And yeah, they're calling it Suzuki Gate. And I wonder what caused that, by the way. I wonder what that was all about. But yeah, they need to slow down sometimes.
It's not paying attention to detail. The same thing that happens to them almost all the time. Like because they give so many people so much freedom, that's when shit slips through the cracks. Which I'm sure that's what one of those things was. That.
But this Dynamite was you might as well call it AEW Fallout. This is the follow-up episode to All Out, which, by the way, was just an insanely great pay-per-view for professional wrestling fans. If you have any reservations about AEW, I implore you, go look this up. Go into it with an open mind. This was a great pay-per-view, and truly feels like a turning point for professional wrestling.
Yeah.
Now, so tonight, the fans tuned in. They were eager to hear from CM Punk, Ruby Soho, Adam Cole, Bryan Danielson. That's what the buzz was throughout the show. They sprinkled in the hometown boys John Moxley, and Brian Pillman Jr., which was pretty cool. The segment that really got me, I don't know about you, RN, but the segment that got me was the Elite in the ring. They usher out Adam Cole, who instantly feels huge.
I told y'all, I feel like with all that star power in the ring, Adam Cole felt like the biggest person in that fucking ring and then the biggest person in that company. And anybody that doesn't think that, like, I don't know what the hell you were watching.
And Adam Cole, as beloved as he is, smart man, knew how to get booed. He got in Tony Schiavone's face. Fantastic.
Which I was hoping they didn't do that. I hope he played it up like he was really, like Schiavone was really part of the squad. You know what I'm saying? Because he loves Britt Baker so much. Like, I thought that, I was hoping Adam would come in like, hey, yeah, remember, you left something here at dinner the other night. You know what I'm saying? Just something like to acknowledge it. But I'm like, I guess. But
there's no other way for him to get booed. Apparently, Schiavone's talking shit on like a podcast with Conrad.
And he'd kick his ass. I saw. In Schiavone's defense, he probably is like 15, 20 pounds heavier than Adam Cole and probably a couple inches taller.
Well, he said he'd kick the shit out of him in video games.
Video games, right.
Yeah, video games. But Bryan Danielson comes out. And the Elite all back off. We're allowed to get the image of Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson facing off. This is just firing on all cylinders for dream match. If you guys if these guys get like a New Japan Wrestle Kingdom like freedom match where you give them 45 minutes to an hour, God knows, man.
I'm gonna be honest with you, like these three, not so much the CM Punk shit, like because I feel like even though if you go back and check my top 10, he's literally in my top 5, but I don't think he's that CM Punk anymore. Mm-hmm. He's more so what he was doing for this show, like coming out hyping everybody up, talking shit, which I think is perfect for him. I'm not shitting on that position. I'm just saying in ring wise, he's not that guy. But Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson, whatever the fuck it is, like these are. I'm watching AEW now and actually paying attention and not on my phone the whole fucking time. Like, because Adam Cole is by far one of my favorite wrestlers ever. And like I said, he just felt he overshadowed all of them in the ring. And I don't even know, as much as I love Kenny Omega and think Kenny Omega's a star, like none of them felt like they were on Adam Cole's level. Like literally none of them did. I'm sorry. They just didn't.
And I can see that, man. I can see that. The dude oozes the charisma.
Yeah.
He has that blend of like regular superstar and WWE superstar. And right. There's nothing wrong with feeling like a WWE superstar as long as you have the right other tools to back it up.
And he does.
Yeah. To think that this guy was supposed to allegedly be a heel manager for Keith Lee and then was probably going to have his name changed so that fans don't confuse him with Michael Cole.
Right.
What would they have changed his name to?
I don't even want to get into it. Like
Cole Adams?
Probably something like that.
I saw a tweet the other day. It's Adam Boom.
That's more like it. Some corny as shit that makes absolutely no fucking sense. It probably would have been something like that.
Oh man. Bryan Danielson locks in the crossface. And then that's when the Elite come in to break it all up. Jurassic Express and Christian come out to save the day. This is the only part where it's odd. Like, so on the surface, I get it. Use the rub to try and get Jurassic Express and then Christian in there. But it feels a little too odd bedfellows for me. Because I don't think, the most I've ever seen out of Bryan Danielson being part of a group is either his tag team in Hell No. He wasn't even in Nexus because he got fired and then came back. And then I imagine he probably has had some factions back on the indies before I ever saw him. Right. But it feels odd to see him with like in a team. He doesn't strike me as like a team member. He's fucking Bryan Danielson, man. He's just.
Well, my thing is, the only reason why I'm not mad at it is because AEW is factions.
That's true. That's true.
He has to be a part of something. And honestly, really no other faction has anything on the fucking Elite anywhere near. But the only one that is close would be Jungle Boy and him. I feel like Jungle Boy is going to be a fucking star. Like, I feel like he could be their Adam Cole moving forward. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's homegrown. They've had him since the beginning. Like, they've protected him. Like, I'm not mad at him being involved in the top level. And like I said, who are you going to use? Death Triangle's all right, but not really. And they're heels. And then you got the Dark Order that's falling to pieces. Like, you don't really have
true.
You don't have any babyface factions to help him out. So, and then him and Christian have the WWE shit that ties them together. So, like, it on a straight non-wrestling thing, it works. But I mean, you got to do what you got to do with what you have.
Right. True. Very true. Bama says the Wyatt family stint. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's true.
Right.
What else do we get here? Oh,
you know what I thought about too when I was watching it? Like,
yeah,
QT Marshall's guys. Like, I felt like I know they were heels, but like I felt like Daniel Bryan with them, like kind of what they all got that kind of like shoot style and shit and everything like that.
It's
I felt
true.
like
yeah,
that would have been a nice little fucking addition if they came out with him. That was his guy. He just beat the shit out of QT and told them, "You guys are with me now." Like,
hey, I'm for any story where people come out and beat the shit out of QT and kick him off television, man.
Facts.
CM Punk, man, I'm going to drop this right here. While we are going through the love fest that CM Punk is, because he came out on this night, he praised Darby Allin, Sting, which, by the way, they had a fantastic match at All Out. It was great.
I got a lot of shit because of what I said, like, and I wasn't shitting on CM Punk. I was just saying, like, he hasn't wrestled in fucking 7 years. So, yes, that was going to be.
That played into the story of the match anyways.
Right. They used that. But, I mean, he was obviously fucking winded and dripping sweat.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so, like, I wasn't shitting. I'm just saying, like, that's what I expected that from a guy that hasn't been in the fucking ring in almost a decade. Like, it is what it is.
So, this is going to be a soundbite for you guys. But anyways, really quick, CM Punk's going through the locker. He's leaving a open forum to the crowd of who his next rivalry should be, because he's such a nice guy and he doesn't want to pick names. However, we get this awkward moment where Taz jumps on the mic and tells CM Punk to keep his team's names out of his mouth. He had never mentioned any of them. It was the most awkward shit. Yeah. He eventually, because Taz was being an annoying asshole, he did finally say, send Hook, send Hobbs, and all of that shit, which was fine and dandy. I will say it is a little underwhelming to be Team Taz feud, but anyways, look, CM Punk's got a long run with the company.
Right.
Let's go ahead and just do it.
And the thing about this, I'm actually not mad at him. I think him and fucking Starks is going to have some fire matches, but they got to let Ricky Starks be Ricky Starks and not fucking retarded ass Taz be the mouth of the thing. Like, Ricky Starks doesn't need Taz. He's never needed Taz to speak for him. Like, he's a fucking prick on his own. He's damn near on NJF level if they would actually let him, I don't know, use a fucking mic.
I'm ready for Taz to be only a commentator.
Right.
Because, for one, it's a contrast of his personality. He'll hop on commentary, which he's an absolute professional. Yeah. He's an absolute professional
and fire. Like, I think he's the best on the damn table. If you held a gun to my head and told me to pick who I'd rather listen to, it'd be Taz more than fucking any of them.
Yeah, but then he hops in character off the mic, and he's a completely different person. And I get it. It's because his character as the faction leader is not going to translate well on commentary. So thank God they tell him you can dial it back and just be a regular commentator.
Right.
I'm ready for him to just be only a commentator. Now, apparently, I'm in the minority that actually really enjoys Excalibur.
I'm there with you. I think he's fucking.
I see a lot of Excalibur hate, especially in our group chat, man. Right. Our group chat, man, hates some Excalibur.
I like Excalibur because he's a fucking commentator. Actually knows what the moves are called. He actually gives excitement to the shit that needs excitement. I will give you sometimes he goes a little overboard. I'll give you that. But at least he knows his spots and he knows the moves where he's not like fucking JR and Shivani and all them just like, oh, look at that crazy. What do you call that again? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
fucking old timer shit.
JR, JR, JR botches are a gem. You know, they don't really stand out to me, but I know other people, man. Their ears, I think
Right.
because of the terrible commentary that we've gotten from not so much now, but I mean
Right.
when like JBL and Morrow, which I love Morrow, I'm not talking shit. He
Right.
just was on a really bad commentary team.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got so used to just trying to tune him out. I don't really pick up on JR botches.
I don't either, really.
Yeah. But not like I'm giving him a pass. I obviously when I hear him on Twitter and stuff, that's when I'm like, oh shit, I can't believe he said that.
My main gripe is just too many of them. Like,
Yeah.
it's anywhere from 3 to 5 on a given fucking night.
I
like,
know you're really not lying too. But anyways, I lost my train of thought for a second there. Let me get back to CM Punk because this is what I want to go on record saying. Now that CM Punk is a white meat baby face, he has accidentally become John Cena.
Facts.
He comes out, he hypes up the crowd, he gets them eating out of the palm of his hand. He plays it very safe in the words that he's using. He's not creating any type of controversy. The man, just like he once said, John Cena rooted for the Red Sox, but is actually the Yankees. I think CM Punk has gone from the underdog and become the franchise without even trying, man.
I think he wanted this. I think this is what he always wanted, but because of how he looked and how his personality was, he knew he'd never get to be this point. But now, in this type of company, he can be John Cena. He can wrestle only on the big pay-per-views and keep it fucking moving and just come and say a few things and have the crowd ready to blow the fucking top off the place and then go home. Like he can, that of all the things that I think throughout his career, he himself and people took for granted the power he has on a mic.
Yeah.
Like he can do whatever he wants. He can make the crowd do whatever he wants them to do on a mic, either boo him or cheer him. Just let him go fucking do that and throw a sprinkle match in there every once in a while. Like,
and you know what's going to be fantastic? He's going to become stale, but AEW will actually pull the trigger and turn him heel when that time is right.
Right.
You know? So we'll living vicariously through CM Punk, we will get that John Cena heel turn. Okay? It just won't be John Cena. It'll be CM Punk. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. Other stuff that happened on the match. Malachi Black and Dustin Rhodes had match of the night. Although there was controversy with this one. Once again, what are the rules? Black puts...
It was a table match, a low blow, all types of shit.
Black put Dustin through a table at one point. Should have garnished the DQ. Did not. There was a nice touch, though. Him getting the Cody's boot from under the ring. Mm-hmm. Which begs the question, how has Cody allowed his boot just to remain? For one, for one, it's not even in the same place. They've packed up shows and traveled across the United States. But it was kind of funny that Cody's boot now lives under the ring until he comes back to reclaim it. I guess that means at the New York show, because it was announced that they're going to face each other in New York, Cody's going to come to the ring with one boot on, and he'll have to retrieve it himself before he has the match.
Yikes.
Just my take. Those were the big things, I think.
That was pretty much everything.
Well, you had MJF running down Cincinnati. A lot of people were like, this was cheap heat shit. Called it the Midwest because everything is mid, which that's a weird term to hear on. It's like such an internet term. Right. To hear it like on a wrestling broadcast was pretty neat. But he said stuff like Brian Pillman's mom should have had an abortion. I want to say it was just pretty nuts.
Oh yeah, so Andy said to the sisters, "The dad, your dad."
Oh God, it was.
Big... Oh, I did have one thing. I hope Bray Wyatt's the one that brings the Dark Order back together.
Yeah, me too. Or he's the one that destroys them. I had a shower thought. We all think of the new leader, right? That unifies them because Dark Order is imploding as we speak, especially between 5 and Evil Uno. we all think that Bray Wyatt could come back and reunite them, which would be neat and feel good. However, I think Bray Wyatt comes back, says, granted, this is going to be controversial, okay? So don't come for my neck. But you're disrespecting the memory of Brody.
Ooh.
Brody built this faction, and you guys are letting it fall apart. And so he kills them before they can kill Brody's legacy. I know, spicy take.
I'm not doing that as bad. I'm doing that because I fucking love it.
Thank you.
It hits the wrong spots that feel good, though.
It feels raw, man. It feels raw.
Yeah. If anybody's going to do it, it'll be them, though. I doubt they will.
Yeah.
But if anybody, but actually, you know what? If Bray was okay with it being that he's so close to Brody, and I think that Brody's wife would give it the okay because it's Bray.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think anybody else but Bray could pull that off, honestly.
Yeah, man. Oh, man, I could feel how tense that would be.
Oh, you could feel that shit through the TV.
Oh, God. Yeah. That would be a polarizing angle right there. I hope people don't come for my neck on that one, though. Let me just really quick. Okay, yeah, and for pretty much that was it for Dynamite. They set up a couple things that took place on Rampage, which we'll fly through on that one. On to probably show of the week, SmackDown. Ended the week, man. SmackDown killed it, man. Madison Square Garden, not without some controversy.
Fuck, I didn't have anything on SmackDown. I completely forgot. I watched everything but SmackDown.
It's all good. Here you go. Did you say you'd miss SmackDown?
I can't remember if I watched or not, if I'm being honest.
You can't. It's all good. Here, I'll send you over some quick notes. Yeah, so the controversy is, it's, okay, obviously this is the eve of 9/11, the 20th anniversary.
Right.
You have Zelina Vega, who in real life, her father was lost due to 9/11.
Oh, shit, I didn't know that.
Yep. And so this is also her home crowd. 5 or 6 years ago, WWE would have had her front and center the whole fucking show, because they lean into those moments.
Right.
Instead, now it appears her planned segment or match was scrapped, including all other women's matches, with the exception of the Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair contract signing. That was the only women's segment. And then Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Knox had a little cameo backstage.
I forgot all about them.
Yeah, they did. They were riding around backstage. Surprise, surprise, no Toni Storm, also, by the way, if anyone's still wondering where she is. Besides that, man, no, it was fucking fantastic. Edge and Seth Rollins killed it. Absolutely killed it. Seth Rollins, they put over how dangerous the stomp was for Edge because of his neck, his fusion surgery, and Rollins hit the stomp. Edge got the stretcher job. Very, very good stuff. It's you kind of wonder why they didn't do this on SummerSlam,
right?
You know, because really now that we've had this angle, does Edge's victory at SummerSlam really mean anything? Not really. But yeah, you know, they like to send people home happy on pay-per-view, so I assume that's kind of why. Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair, they had their contract signing. Becky is proper heel. She dropped the line, "You people." Which, she's finally turning on the crowd. She said, "I left my kid at home, and this is how you people treat me." So I think we got an actual heel turn. The only thing is, you remember when Stone Cold turned heel?
Yeah, the 2-man power trip shit.
No, not even that.
When?
He went from middle finger DTA badass to chicken shit heel. And you can't do a Stone Cold character as a chicken shit heel. No one cares. No one cared, man, after like 3 months. I fear that's what's going to happen with Becky. Is she's actively trying to avoid fighting.
Well, nobody wanted this shit to begin with. That's the thing. So if you're already going to be pushing some shit nobody really wanted to see, and then eventually it just never made sense to me. Like, I'm not into it. I don't even like her promos. Like, To me, she wasn't that good at the fucking promos to begin with. It was just she was so hot and everything was just going her way. But like now they just don't like she needed the crowd. You could tell she fed off the crowd.
Yeah.
And that's what empowered the man gimmick. Now it's just like I don't even know what I'm watching most of the time. I'm like, okay, like.
And I'm glad you say that because you could feel that in the crowd.
Right.
The crowd were like apprehensive, like starting to cheer, like, hey, hey. And then they're like, wait, did she say some bad guy stuff? And then they were kind of, you could feel the confusion in the audience. Like, do we boo her? Do we not? Like, it was, the reactions were not unified.
Just so fucking tone deaf. As long as people have been clamoring and waiting on Becky, you bring her back to shit on a actual star you built up and brought over from NXT and didn't change her name to Bel Air, you know what I'm saying? Like some stupid shit like from Fresh Prince or some shit. You actually brought her in as that
Princess
character.
Bel Air.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like built her up and got the crowd to stay behind her and everything. And then you come back and beat her in 26 seconds with a heel Becky. Yeah. Like it did, like none of it fucking made sense in any way, shape, or form. And like it's gonna bite them in the ass. It's just what always happens to them. They squander anything they fucking had. You first of all, you accidentally fell into the man shit anyway.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And now you're gonna fuck it up because you didn't create it. So
no, they're gonna take a second go with that heel turn. We'll see, man. We'll see. Yeah, but there was a neat part though, because Bianca did get under Becky's skin, and I love that Becky got up. She grabbed the contract and she went to throw it in Bianca's face, and Bianca just stone face caught it perfectly while staring down Becky. It was a nice moment. The best character work of the night, hands down, was everything between the Bloodline, Paul Heyman, and Brock Lesnar. So that's actually what kicked off the show. Bloodline are out. Roman's cutting a promo, says WWE runs New York. I run WWE. I run New York, essentially.
Facts.
Brock Lesnar comes out, and Paul Heyman, they're in the ring. Paul Heyman starts squabbling, says, Brock, of all champs, you know, we could go after Bobby Lashley. We could do this. You know, of everybody, why Roman? Brock turns to Paul and tells him, why didn't you tell Roman I was going to be at SummerSlam? Sowing the seeds right there, trying to break apart the Bloodline from the inside. Roman and everybody bails on Paul. Paul, like a chameleon changing colors, nervously goes back into his advocate promo for Brock Lesnar. Fantastic watching him just panic, start saying he's the advocate of the reigning defending champ. Brock cuts him off, says you have 5 seconds. Before they fire you, you have 5 seconds to accept a match. Accept my challenge for Roman's title. Brock starts counting down. Paul doesn't answer him, so he puts him in the F5. Bloodline comes in, saves Paul's ass. It's fantastic stuff. It kept going on backstage throughout the night. Paul back there just getting harassed by Kayla Braxton. I love every second of Kayla's shit-eating grin. So good. But yeah, the seeds of distrust between Roman towards Paul. Roman even asked him, like, why didn't you tell me? And instead of denying it, Paul just couldn't say anything. So it's really...
What was the shit with Naomi you posted?
Huh?
What was the shit with Naomi and Paul?
Nothing happened with Naomi and Paul. So what happened was there was a segment of Naomi hanging out backstage trying to get booked. And that got scrapped. WWE aired it on social media after the show. But she essentially just waited all night to talk to Sonya Deville and then got blown off again. And I said that is the most meta story in WWE, is Naomi hours on end waiting outside of WWE management, ultimately just getting blown off, man. It's super on the nose. But yeah, great stuff. Tag team match, the Street Profits versus the Usos. I didn't even realize last week Street Profits match where it was tossed out was the number one contenders match. Commentary played it up like they legitimately earned their title shot when it was just the match was tossed out like 5 minutes into it. It was fucking weird.
The New Day, not New Day, I'm sorry, the
Street Profits.
Street Profits and Uso stuff, like I want to get into it, but I don't feel like there's anything behind it. I just feel like they're just next up, so they just kind of threw them in there. Like
it was
off on fucking TV for months, weren't they?
It was just to help facilitate the bloodline angle. That's all.
Right.
Because ultimately they were about to win in the main event, and Roman came in, caused the DQ, choked out Montez Ford. Finally, a DQ that makes sense. Roman helping keep the gold in the bloodline. Who then at that point, once again, here's the theme of WWE not allowing us to have surprises. Out comes Demon Balor, almost 3 weeks almost before Extreme Rules. So it was nice seeing Demon Balor out there, but once again, could have left it as a surprise.
Facts.
Yeah, but overall, SmackDown, it was very simple storytelling, and it was honestly very good. It had some huge glaring issues with the women's stuff, but as far as a show, man, it was fantastic. Not to mention they also had a very well put tribute package to the 9/11 memorial.
That's the best shit they do. So
yeah, that was fantastic. It was kind of weird though. John Cena was there, and he didn't even come out at any point on the show till after the show was over.
Yeah, he did the dark match.
Yeah, it was weird, man. You have John Cena, dude. John Cena just could have kicked off the show.
Literally.
God. He announced Osama bin Laden being assassinated. Is Mr. USA, all right? RN, lastly, really quick, rundown Rampage. Did you watch it?
Yeah, I watched it specifically just for Andrade versus Pac. That shit was fire.
Dude, it was so good. Oh, so good. What do you think about Andrade turning on Chavo at the end?
Just more fucking like rushed AEW booking. Like he's only been with him a month or two, and it's over already.
Not even. I swear it's only been 1 month.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like me, honestly, I think they should have just put them. They should have just put Death Triangle all them together to begin with, and just made it like a new LIJ for AEW. You know what I'm saying? Like, why not? Like,
no, very good point. Very good point. I think they are determined to make Andrade like a singles guy, but with a manager, and with Flair recently becoming available, they're just like, it seems kind of stupid to ditch Vicky, ditch Chavo, but he's gonna wind up with fucking Flair. So I said this on Twitter, man, and I'm glad that most people agreed with me, was that we don't need to like shit on this booking right away. Look, they fell on their face with Miro for an entire year.
Right.
And Miro now, in my opinion, is a cornerstone of
absolutely
AEW. Andrade is going to be fine.
That's what I'm saying with Andrade too. Like my thing is once they pair him up with Flair, give him a fucking Mexican evolution. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, give him seriously.
Yes.
Like, that's what you're playing him up as. That's what he looks like and dressed like anyway. And then you add Flair to that, who's his fucking father-in-law. Why not? Like, it's all factions anyway. Like, go all the way, balls to the walls with it. Like, I don't understand, like, why you wouldn't. Then you put people behind him to build him up and make him be a bigger deal.
Yeah, man. Other than that, we had some cool little stuff. We had 2 little video interviews with Brian. I keep saying Daniel. Brian Danielson, Adam Cole. That was nice. They're setting up a tag match, I believe. Tully Blanchard and Shawn Spears to take on Sting and Darby Allin. In your gut, you're like, no, don't do this. However, Sting's been in 3 tag matches, and they've all been fire.
Oh, it's not even. I wasn't even saying it because of Sting. Like, Sting still can go, especially in tag matches, shit where you can hide him and protect him.
Yeah,
and especially when you have somebody like Darby that can sell and eat so much punishment throughout the match. My thing is, fuck Tully Blanchard and Shawn Spears. Shawn Spears is QT Marshall with a mohawk. Like, he's like it's. I don't understand. Like, why do they still keep thinking that he's something? He's not. He's fucking mid-card lower bottom mid card. He should have a losing record at all times. Like, I just never got it. Even with the 10 shit, like it was the best thing about him is his wife being a part of that, who's part of the Iconics. That's the only good thing about
Peyton
it.
Royce, my friend.
That's all you've ever done, shit, is have a hot wife. That is it. That is it, Sean.
That's a hot take from our end. Lastly, we saw Brian Pillman once again, still in Cincinnati because this was taped after Dynamite. Yeah. Brian Pillman took on and defeated Max Caster, returning Max Caster. Which, by the way, his opening rap. Once again, I'm tickled with Caster because I like cheesy heels. Right.
I think his raps are fire, I think that's an element that AEW doesn't have. Like they're like, yeah, MJF is that guy, but his heat's it's not real heat. Like he just says shit he just says normal wrestling heel shit. Yeah. Like Max Caster be saying some shit, pop culture shit. He says some wrestling shit, and he fucking grills you and your family members on top of it. Like, I like that type of shit. I'm into it. Yeah. I always have that.
He was about to call the local chili say it smells like shit, but Anthony Bowens cuts him off and he says, "Whoa, Max, you're on thin ice." So I loved it. I'm in the heart of that shit here in Ohio. It does smell like shit, but it tastes amazing. So here's my thing about Rampage. So Rampage is in a tough spot because they've ever since its inception. I think this was like the 4th episode. I want to say 4th, 5th. Okay, they are leading with their best segment, which kind of wears you out towards the end. Right. And I get why you're not doing the reverse, is because you don't want people to come over possibly tired from SmackDown and then not get interested in your show because you're not starting it off strong enough. Right. So they are kind of damned if they do, damned if they don't. But it's
their initial damned is the fact they're on Friday at fucking 10 p.m.
At 10 p.m.
You either got old people like you that are ready to go to bed and pass out, or people like me that's not in the fucking house at Friday at 10 o'clock.
Right. Fuck you, RN. The message is kind of sending. I wonder if this is just me like exaggerating, or if it is going to result in this. Is people will tune in, watch that opening segment or match, and then click off before the show's even up later.
I just don't think any wrestling should be on Friday night, including SmackDown. Like, it's a struggle for me to watch SmackDown because it's the fucking weekend. Mm-hmm. I got shit I got to do Saturday. Like, most of the times I can only go out Friday night. Like, and I don't want to stay. I'm not staying until 10 o'clock at night. Like, I want to go out, have some drinks, have dinner, whatever. Like, but I got to watch SmackDown. You know what I'm saying?
Friday is a weird wrestling.
I think both of them should be moved to Thursday or split it up or something. But
it's like it used to be. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments. How would you book Rampage? Is it in a tough spot? Are we exaggerating? Let us know what you guys think. But that's pretty much it for this week. Raw is on. Go tune in. Apparently Big E's going to cash in on Bobby Lashley tonight. We'll see how that tunes out. I'm actually going to be playing some like VR horror game with my wife. I'm probably going to shit my pants. But my wife's into like horror genre, so we got this VR game. We're going to like hunt through some like haunted tombs or something. I don't know. It looks terrifying though. But you guys, make sure once again, tune in tomorrow. Bama Slammers, trivia game. We're going to find out who's going to face TC in the All-Stars game from Young Kings Wrestling. And then also a little shout out, Katie Kinsey Bebe, former host on here at Smack Raw. She's got something going on Thursdays, maybe around 9 o'clock. Maybe tune into that. But until next time, everybody, y'all have a good one.
See y'all next week.